I pivoted that night, and the next day we had over 100 people on our first ever class. Gosh, yeah, the rest is history.
On this week's episode of the podcast is online coach Lorna Morie, who's created a thriving business with over 200 plus clients, and she's done this working part-time.
I first started in 2015 when I started teaching insanity classes.
We discussed the importance of community and how she's created a thriving six-figure business.
We have about 223 clients on our recurring membership.
We talk about sales and the importance of having a conversation with someone rather than just sending a payment link.
People really need to know, like, and trust and understand more about you if they're going to buy into you.
The importance of having a supportive partner, the best way to manage home work-life balance while growing a business, the importance of tech, innovation and gamification in your business, and how she's overcome the biggest challenges in her business and why it's important to always follow your passion.
On our 6-week course, which is our initial program, where everyone comes in, we nurture them, just make sure they're okay. And then around about week 4 or 5, we have the conversation about.
Let's jump into the episode.
We'll jump into the episode in 1 second. Before we do, I just want to tell you about an online workshop we have coming up specifically for online coaches. It's on June the 11th. If you head over to fmaworkshop.com, you'll be able to find out more information and secure your free seat. But in short, we're going to show you how to grow and scale your online coaching business to attract more ideal clients for your coaching program. If this is of interest, head over to fmawebinar.com and I'll see you there.
Lorna, welcome to the Fitness Marketing Agency podcast. You have built a thriving online coaching business, over 200 plus clients, and you've done it working part-time, which is impressive. Let's go way back. How did you get started in the fitness industry and what year?
Well, firstly, I just want to say thanks so much for having me here. Really appreciate being here. And I first started in the fitness industry in 2015 when I started teaching insanity classes, which, if you remember, were those crazy DVDs, basically hits, but hit on something. And I actually did that because you didn't actually need a formal fitness qualification to do that in the first place, which, looking back now, is obviously not great. But I did that just to see if I'd like it and enjoy it. And I was doing that alongside studying. So I was in a graduate scheme at Boots, and then I went on to do a PGCE, all whilst building up my fitness qualifications. So I found that I absolutely loved teaching these crazy insanity classes. And I got good feedback. A lot of people saying, "Oh, wow, I love your classes, Lorna." And I got a huge waiting list.
Where would you host them?
I did them at a gym, DW, in Nottingham, and built up a bit of a following, really. And then I thought, okay, there's something about this. I really enjoy it. So I went and did my qualifications. And at the time, it was exercise to music. And now I think it might be a group fitness qualification, but basically you're level 2. So I did my level 2 and expanded from there, teaching all Les Mills, which is pre-choreographed workouts, like body combat, body attack, body pump. And I got all my elites in those. And then I actually became a tribe coach for other instructors in the area. So I'd be like the go-to person for other instructors if they wanted to set up some classes in a gym or they need a bit of help with whatever it might be. And it really just expanded and exploded. And that's how it all began for me. And at the same time, I was doing my studies. So I was training to be a French teacher in a secondary school because my background is actually economics and French. And I decided that I just really didn't like working with teenagers. So I thought, do you know what? I was still living at home at the time. I'm going to try and go into the fitness industry full time. So I did as a freelance group exercise instructor. But to earn enough money and earn a good living doing that, you really need to teach a lot of classes. So I got to a point where I was teaching probably about 25, 26 group exercise classes. So we're pretty high intensity, like spin, aerobics, combat, body pump, things like that. And you do kind of reach a point where you're getting pretty burnt out. And that was when COVID hit. So it kind of caught me at a good time.
You're doing like 3-4 classes a day, sometimes more?
Yes, sometimes more, sometimes 5-6 classes a day.
Into the evening till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and that is the problem because you're getting up first thing in the morning, do a class at 6:30 where everyone goes to work. You might hang around the gym for a little bit to do the 9:30s when mums have done the school run, and then the evenings as well, because that's the fitness industry for you.
So tell us what happened when COVID struck.
So when COVID struck, we kind of preempted it a little bit because, well, what they were saying on the news, and I was listening to a lot of fitness experts say, you need to pivot, you need to go online. And it was something that I'd never considered before. Didn't really know anything about online. The thought of it absolutely terrified me. So I said to Will, who is he's the other half of me, he's the other half of the business, my husband, said, I think we need to go online. He's like, no, that's not going to work. I said, no, I don't know what else to do. I think we're going to have to do it. And at the time I was teaching about 5 different gyms. I had a really, really good relationship with the members there. And they were all asking me, Lorna, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? So I felt this real responsibility to do something anyway. I said, I don't know if I'm going to make any money from it, but I'm just going to try it. It was a huge, huge leap of faith. So I started to put some feelers out. I'm going to make this Facebook group. I'm going to do some classes. We all need a bit of structure, a bit of routine. If anyone wants to come with me, just join this Facebook group and I'll be sharing information. And anyway, when lockdown hit and Boris made his announcement, I pivoted that night, looked up Zoom, we watched loads of YouTube videos, and the next day we had over 100 people on our first ever class live online. And gosh, yeah, the rest is history.
And initially, were they doing it for free or was it paid? Like, how did you position it?
I don't know if the first class might have been free because it was probably a bit dodgy. I'm not gonna lie. I think my headphones at the time were a microphone. Now we've got obviously like a proper setup and everything. But it was initially, it was paid, and we used to do it weekly. And thinking back, it was crazy the way that we tried to do it. But it was one of these things that I never ever anticipated being a CEO or a business owner. It was just this beautiful accident that happened. So
Following your passion of teaching, coaching. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, just following my passion and following my heart, even though it sounds a bit cheesy.
So fast forward to now, what have you created? How many clients? What is the setup? How does it all work?
So we have about 223 clients on our recurring membership, which we call, it's the inner circle. And then on our 6-week course, which is our initial program, where everyone comes in, we nurture them, just make sure they're okay. We have about 20-ish people on that right now. So I'd say about 240 overall. The best way to describe us is an online fitness community. And I really think we're a bit unique in the way that we operate. Because I know a lot of group fitness instructors who teach just classes online, but we are, to say that would be a huge understatement. We do so much. We operate a little bit more like a facility, really. So we've got this huge community. We run step challenges online. Like last October, we did a step challenge to Tortuga, and everyone was competing in WhatsApp groups. And Will, my other half, he's very good on the tech side. So he had this interactive map where all these little pirate flags were going along to Tortuga and put loads of little curveballs in the way, like double or nothing your steps. That was really, really good fun. We also host real life challenges. So we've done the Yorkshire Three Peaks. We've done the Edale Skyline Challenge. This year we're doing the Ullswater Way in memory of one of our squaddies. So squaddies are our members. It's called Lorna's Online Squad. And we were always hosting things like socials. So next Friday, we're doing our first ever silent headphone 90s workout. So everyone's going to have headphones on and all dress up as 90s. So that's Spice Girls, Britney.
And that will be in person?
That will be in person, yes.
This whole component of the business is online.
Yeah.
But you have a massive element of in-person activities, challenges that just emphasizes what you do and builds that community even further.
Definitely. And they're there for those who want to do it, because not everyone does. Some people really like just doing the online challenges, like the step challenges, or we do focus months where last month we focused on glute, core strength and balance. Some people just like to do that, and other people just like to do the daily classes. So we do, I should have said that, we do operate online classes every day. First thing in the morning, 6 and 6:30, which everyone can follow if they want to, and they get the perfect balance of cardio, strength and holistic. Or they can do it in their own time. I just upload them to this week's area and they can follow along in their own time at lunchtime or when the kids have gone to bed.
And is it 7 days a week, 5 days a week?
5 days a week. And then sometimes we throw in an odd weekend class as well for fun.
And just talk me through sort of like the routine. So you're going live every morning at 6 a.m.
Yes, that's right. Live every morning at 6 a.m. and then we have a bit of a break in between, and then we go again at 6:30. So some people do both and some people do either or.
And they just literally through the portal that you've built, they'll just click the links, sign in, and see you on screen.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. So they'll just log in, they click on this week's classes. So say if it's Monday, the first class will be there, click join class, and then it'll all open up. I'll be there, morning, and make sure that I greet everyone by name. And then we all have a little giggle, chat about what we've been watching on Netflix over the weekend. And then, then we get on with the class.
We'll get some footage from you of how it looks. Can you just describe how the setup studio is?
Yes. Is in my studio that I teach in.
Yeah.
Okay, so the studio that I teach in is in my house. It's on the bottom floor of the house. And it was basically, it used to be a little piano room that the lady before us here in the house, she had. And the agreement was when we moved in that Will could have the double garage if he made me my own little studio, because it was my dream. And then it was the only room we decorated in the house, and then lockdown hit. And so it was this really weird coincidence that I had a studio. But I've got 2 massive mirrors. We've got LED lighting all the way around, a professional camera set up in the corner. I use a professional mixer. I have a head microphone, so the sound quality is really good. We've got the audio, the lighting. Everything's just really professional.
And you're coming through a 4K camera, or is it through the laptop camera? How does that?
Through a 4K camera. Yeah.
The production value is super high.
Yes, it's super high. It's all going through OBS as well, and we've got a logo over it. The floor that I use is sprung, so everything is top quality to the best of our ability.
What's OBS?
OBS, oh gosh, Will would know more about this. It is a video software where you can basically run you can run everything through it, like your sound, your video through it, and then that itself. So you do all the mixing there, basically. I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm on about with OBS. I don't really. Will does all this, and he'll put the logo over there as well, and then that all then goes to Zoom. So it's basically a virtual camera.
So 5-star production value, which probably just the icing on top, and when people participate in the classes.
Yes, we'd like to think so. We hope so, yeah.
Versus, other options out there potentially on the market. Like going way back, so many people did the Zoom workouts, but the camera, the audio is not as good. But with you've got this production level that is good.
It's super slick. It's really, really slick, and everything is on the dot as well. And that's how we like to operate. 6 o'clock, we're going. 6:20 or 6:21 perhaps we finish. It's very, very slick.
So when you let everyone in, I guess a click of a button, can they interact with you, or are they muted? Like how does it work?
So everyone comes in muted, because we found that if we don't have that setting on automatically, it can be a bit chaotic. Like you hear kids in the background, animals, everything. So it's just everyone comes in muted. I have music playing, and I usually have something on the screen, like if there's a notice coming up. So next week we are starting our Race to the Golden Egg Challenge. So that will be up on the screen just as a reminder for everybody. And then I will come in before the class starts to greet everybody as well. And then as they're coming in, morning, Nicola. Oh, happy birthday, so-and-so. And we'll just have like a little chat, and everyone chats to me in the chat box. And I usually get loads of chatter during the class, if there's been a hard move, like, oof, ow, my glutes, Lorna, or emojis and things like that. So there is constant interaction back and forth as the class is going on. You kind of forget that it's online.
So a standard like exercise to music class, or any of the classes that you used to teach, you're looking at 45 minutes to an hour. How comes you've gone with 20 minutes?
So we did used to do them a little bit longer, and we found that the shorter ones were so much more popular. So we can see all the stats in the background, and we can see what people go to. And we've actually found that our most popular area isn't even that, it's the bolt-on area. And they're classes that are under 10 minutes long, because people are just looking for something that they can do fast, like while dinner's cooking, or something they can add on to something else. Or if they haven't got much time, or they can't really be bothered, at least they can do something. And the beauty of being online is that it is so flexible. And it's great for people who don't have much time, who can't drive out to a gym or walk to a gym or whatever. And we found that the 20 minutes are just really effective, and actually you can get a really, really good workout in 20 minutes. And the reason why we do 2 back to back is for those who do want to do a little bit more. So then they can say they can do 2 and they've got for a 40-minute workout.
Tell me more about the demographic that are part of the community.
Okay, so we serve mainly 3 different types of people, mainly women. We do have some men in the squad, but I would say like 98% women. In fact, actually, no, we've got secret squaddies, who I call secret squaddies, and the husbands in the background who actually do it as well. But they don't like to know that we know. Mainly, so perimenopausal women. That is kind of our main clientele. So about roughly 45 to 60-ish. Then we do have retired folk as well, but that's a little bit smaller. The other main demographic would be mums, and usually about 35 to 45, really time poor mums who might be feeling a little bit conscious about going to a gym, or simply just don't have time or can't get the childcare. And then beginners, because beginners always feel a little bit intimidated, I think, going into gyms. I think it can be really intimidating. Whereas when you come online, you are in the comfort of your own home. You don't even have to have your camera on, and you can just build it up in your own time.
Yeah, on that note, how many actually turn that camera on?
It's about 50%. Because I think this is one of the theories. I think a lot of people actually just turn up in their pajamas, because it's early in the morning. You can just rock out of bed, roll out of bed, and turn your laptop on or put us on the telly, and away you go. But it is about 50%. And it's actually quite nice to see people decide to turn their camera on. So what you do see is some people start with us. They're really nervous, they're really intimidated. And you kind of see this progression of confidence within themselves. All of a sudden, so-and-so's put their camera on. And it's a huge deal. But that's really, really nice.
That was my next question, which when's that breakthrough occur that they have the confidence to turn on that camera and like visually see you, or you see them for the first time?
Yeah. It's just like, it is that, because you've never seen them before, yet you feel like you know them. It's different for everybody. People come out of their shells whenever they feel ready.
I want to go deeper on the demographic you're targeting. How many of them also have a gym membership, do you think?
There are some who do have a gym membership. If I had to put a number on it, I would say about 10%.
And the rest, the 90%, how many of them have had gym memberships, PTs? They've potentially been unsuccessful on a fitness transformation journey, either physical or mental, in the past?
Probably a good 80% of them. Yeah. We find that a lot of people come to us because of the variety that we offer, the fact that it's really fun, and they feel like they're part of something. And the ease of it, the ease of just literally having it in their own home and doing whatever they want.
Where I was going with this is, like, as an industry, we all need to do a better job at marketing our thing to attract people in to then change their lives, which you're doing. And we'll go into some of the stories in a bit of whose lives you changed. But the first step is always the hardest step, and it's getting people to take that step, be it into an online coaching program like yours, or into a physical bricks and mortar gym, or it could be an exercise class. What can we do better as an industry to get more people active and starting their transformation?
Oh gosh, I think one of the things that we really, really try and hammer home is no egos, no judgment, no pressure. Show up as you are. Literally show up as you are. And we always try and be really, really authentic in our delivery. Like, yes, we're professional. Yes, we're very slick. We offer good quality, but we're also extremely authentic. So I will turn up to class in the morning. I've just got out of bed as well. I will have brushed my hair, obviously, but we're kind of all in it together. And then we'll tell funny stories like, oh, it was hilarious this morning. You know, we got my arm stuck in my sports bra, and it just being human. Because I think a lot of the time in the fitness industry, I mean, this is a massive sweeping statement, but I think in the past there have been a lot of egos, and I think it's really intimidating for maybe for the average person who doesn't know a lot about the fitness industry to then feel like they're welcome. So I think just be really, really approachable.
Well, everyone's had that sales call or inquiry where they're like, oh yeah, this is really good, but I'll get fit first, then I'll join you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've had that in the past, but with what you're offering, it's, as you said, there's no ego, just straight in and just get the body moving and so on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the transformations that have occurred. Can you give me, you don't have to say their names, but maybe just tell the story, or maybe you can say their name.
Oh my gosh, there's been countless transformations. Wow. One that I can think of off the top of my head, Anna, and she wouldn't mind me saying her name. I'm so incredibly proud of Anna. Anna first came to me when I was doing some classes at a village hall. So when we first came out of lockdown, I did go back to doing some things face to face. I did a village hall class once a week, and I did a Zumba class, which is just it's a fun dance fitness style class for those who don't really know. Anyway, she came along. I'd never met her before, and at the end of class, she burst into tears and hugged me. I was like, I don't really know who this person is, and she said, I haven't been out of the house since before COVID, and it was this huge, huge breakthrough for her. And it took her a lot to walk into the room and said, just thank you for making me feel so, so welcome. And from that point, she actually inquired about joining us online, and she was really tentative about doing it. But anyway, she was in a place where she felt like she completely lost her identity. She'd just become mum. She kind of lost Anna, and she put on some weight, and she just felt really rubbish in herself. Anyway, fast forward to now. Next week, she's getting up on stage with me at the 90s silent headphone disco. She's lost loads of weight. She feels incredible. She gets involved in everything we do in the squad. And not only she has had a physical transformation, but she's a better mum. She's a better partner. And I've just seen her flourish and her confidence. Amazing.
Do you think she would have ever joined a gym?
I don't think so. I think there was something that she saw in me that just made her feel kind of at home. And I think she needed just to come into a dark village hall where she felt in her comfort zone. It was a local place. Yeah.
Did she see some content or an ad? Do you know specifically?
She saw, I believe it was a post on a local Facebook group just for the village about a Zumba class. And she just thought, oh, well, that sounds quite fun. I'll come along. And then she followed me. And so I believe it was all organic for Anna. But yes, we've had lots and lots of members come through and had complete and utter transformations through the paid ads as well. And yeah, it's crazy when you get to actually know how much of an impact you have on other people's lives. You kind of forget it sometimes, and it's quite nice to remind yourself of all the success stories.
Let's talk about the business model a little bit more. So some fitness professionals, business owners, they might be, looking at or listening to what we've just talked about and being like, that sounds really exhausting. Like, I couldn't possibly get up at 5 o'clock, 5:15, 5:30, and then teach at 6 a.m. 5 days a week. There'll be some people listening, watching this that do that already, but they might be actually just coaching, not actually physically doing the session. So you're physically doing the session with them. Is that right?
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
And what is driving you every single day to get up at 5 o'clock to then be delivering? And you obviously, anyone who's taught a class, you have to show up, you have to perform. What's driving you to do that?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I think it's how you perceive it, really. So for me, that's so easy because in the past I was teaching 30, 45 to an hour classes a week, or up to 30, 26 to 30. And to go from that to doing 2 quick 20 minutes in the morning, it's so much easier. But I really, really love what I do. I'm completely in my element when I'm teaching the classes. And I'm a kind of person I'm a real busybody, and I really, really struggle with slowing down, meditation and things like that. But I actually find that is my place where I'm away, I'm gone, I'm in that class with everybody in front of me. So I think it's the place where I am the most present ever in my life. And I just really enjoy delivering it and making sure that everyone has sounds a bit cheesy, but a life-changing experience. Every morning they get up, they start the day in the best way.
I think the word for me that comes into my head is passion.
Yep.
You use the passion for what you do, changing people's lives, and more importantly, the community that you've built. What would you say to the gym owner, the online coach, fitness professional that has sort of lost that passion over the years? Because building a business is hard, right? Every day there's fires to put out, there's setbacks, people let you down, people steal from you. It's sometimes hard to keep that passion going. So what would you say to that business owner?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There will be days when you feel like you just got to put on your big girl panties and get on with it. But I think it's really important to remind yourself why you got into the industry in the first place. And also think about the alternative. Like, I personally couldn't imagine myself in any other profession right now, or doing anything else, because I don't know, I feel like a huge part of my identity is linked to the fitness industry and helping people in this way. So I really would kind of think about why you initially got into it. Think about all the people that you helped as well, because I think sometimes when you get so stuck in the day to day, and yeah, all the stuff that we might not want to deal with, like putting fires out or cancellations and things like that, you might take to heart. Just really, really be thinking about the people who you have helped and the people who are in front of you. And sometimes, you know what, you might just need a holiday. Just get yourself on a plane, have a week out, and then before you know it, you're probably ready to come back and get back into it.
On that note, what do you do for holidays? What happens with the community? Obviously, they can watch the on demand.
Yes, yeah. So what we do is we can actually set the classes to go live at those times. So I will choose the timetable. So for example, we went skiing last week. I choose a timetable based on the theme. So the theme was glute strength, core strength, balance with a good mix. Tell everybody I've chosen the classes, and nothing for them changes really. So my double, I call it, my double is still going live at those times. And then I can kind of take a bit of a backseat. There might be a couple of things that I need to do. But apart from that, it's quite chill.
The community element, is that WhatsApp group? Is it a Facebook group? Is it inside the membership site that you've built?
Yeah, great question. So we mainly run it on Facebook, but we also do have a WhatsApp group, but it's a one-way channel. So every morning I'll put, right, everybody, your classes are up. It's Wednesday wins. Click here, and it takes them straight to the Facebook group to put the Wednesday wins. So it's more of a touch base at the start of the day. And people say they really like that because it does feel like we are touching base, and they're kept in the loop with everything and any important notices and things like that, like the Q&A, or every Friday I do a video updates of everything that's going on in the squad and what we've got to look forward to. So I always post that in there. But all the chatter, it's all in the Facebook group. So all the selfies and all the expletives about the most recent class. All the banter, it's in the Facebook group.
Up until now, you've talked about the physical component of if I was to join you as a member. What else do you do outside of the physical classes?
So outside the physical classes, we do a weekly Q&A. If you're part of the 6-week course, and we have a squaddy version of the 6-week course as well, for those who feel like they just need...
Rewind a second. So that's the only way for me to get started with you is to participate in 6 weeks?
Generally speaking, yes. Unless we've got something else going on, like a 14-day challenge, then you can do that first. But the reason we do that is because we want to make sure that we're helping everybody on a real holistic level when they come in. So they know how the squad runs, they kind of know our values, and also we've helped them make a really good start. So they will get a check-in from me every week on the 6-week course, a one-on-one check-in. Or any squaddies doing the squaddy version, they get that too. But yeah, apart from that, we have a weekly Q&A where everyone sends in their questions about anything. We go over that. And we also send out a traffic light to members who are on the monthly recurring once a month to make sure that they're okay. And we're just constantly checking in with people just to make sure that they're all right. We also have a member retention, so I know who hasn't been on the website for a while. So we can get in touch with those people. Obviously not pointing the finger, but just seeing if they're okay.
Because if they're not logging in, if they're not participating, the natural progression is they then exit the business, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you've got retention strategies in place. We'll come back to that more. I really want to focus more on that product. How much of it is nutrition involved?
There's a small amount. So it's mainly on the 6-week course, and we do have a nutrition section. But we also have focuses throughout the year. So for example, our focus in November was all nutrition. So we went over what a healthy shopping trolley looks like, anti-inflammatory foods, and we had workshops on nutrition, like Nutrition 101, where we went back to the basics. But the nutrition questions tend to come up in the Q&A too. But So there is an element, but it's not huge. Our main thing is the physical classes.
You're tracking steps with everyone. You're tracking calories.
No, don't. It's not really something I advocate. It is something that I think can be useful in the short term, but for me personally, and I have found that a lot of people who come to us have a really poor relationship with food, a really bad background with food. So we always try and encourage to move away from the tracking. Like maybe use it for short term if they want to. That's totally fine. We'll support that. But I think it's more of a long term strategy to move away from that.
Get the body moving.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep up the repetition of doing it.
Yes. So we're huge on consistency and routine. Let your routine overtake any sort of motivation.
When's that Q&A call? How long is it? Is it with you?
It's with me. I do it every week and it's usually about an hour. Yeah, usually about an hour. And then what I do is I put it on the website under coaching. So any coaching or any workshops we've done, they all go under that area. And I also pop it on the podcast as well in case you want to listen on the way to work.
And do they preload questions, or it's just literally like, this is my question live on you unmute them?
Yeah, we used to do it live. And I kind of found that it was great at the start, but then doing it on a weekly basis, it was really hard to commit to that exact time every single week. And also I found there was a bit of a drop off. So I might be doing it live and one person might be there live, so they wouldn't really ask anything. And I kind of thought it's much easier to get all the questions in first. And then I know roughly how many they're going to be. And if I need to, sometimes I add a couple in. So say if someone's been having some struggles with XYZ, I'll make a question out of it so I can talk about it deeper. And I like to group them as well. So I like to have a section on nutrition and then a section on mindset. So it just makes it flow better.
And then I didn't know about this podcast. So you're repurposing the Q&As and publishing them out on the pod to the masses.
Yeah, that's right. It's just one, a way of being able to help more people and reach more people, but two, it serves a purpose because a lot of our squaddies are on the go. So they will listen to it on dog walks and they'll listen to it on the way to work or to pick the kids up from school. So it just makes it so much easier for them to access the information. So we've tried to put it out in lots of different ways. So on YouTube, on the podcast, on the website, it's on the Facebook group as well. And I pin it to the top. So just, help them in all ways.
Let's talk about the sales process. So how, from start to finish, talk me through it.
Okay, start to finish, we run Facebook ads. And then when somebody clicks on the ad to learn more, it will send they'll fill the details in. And we've got two versions working at the moment, actually. We've got a Facebook lead form, and we've also got a landing page, which tends to qualify the leads a lot better than a Facebook lead form, to be honest. But when they put their information in there, it will send an automatic text message about 10 minutes later through ActiveCampaign saying, "Hi, this is Laura." To Laura, helps us with our sales. She works for us full time. It's Laura from Lorna Morie Fitness. Is there a good time to catch you? And she'll try and get in touch with them too. So she'll give them a call. And then we have automations for, if they don't pick up, then we can drag them into the automation call, no response, to send them either an email or a text just to try and keep them warm until we can get hold of them.
And then it's always a phone call, or they get sent a link to buy now. What's the setup?
It's always a phone call. So we don't really find that the links to buy now are very effective at all.
Let's just stop there. So the reason I'm asking that, I knew it was a phone call, but I just wanted to tee question up, is so many online coaches have been conditioned, I believe wrongly, that you should display the price, you should just give links to people to buy now, and if they really want it, they'll just go ahead and buy it, and don't make it difficult for people. People are time poor, people never pick up the phone, people don't want a sales call. That's the narrative that I see spinning around at the moment. I believe it's wrong. Why do you believe that is wrong?
See, I think it can work for certain people. I think if you have a massive following and you release, I don't know, a podcast 3 times a week and people genuinely feel like they know you, it might work for you. But
cheaper price point.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you were doing something like a 14-day challenge that was 30 quid, you might get away with it. But I think people really, really need to know, like, and trust you. And doing that on a phone call, you don't get anything closer to it. Or you might do it on a Zoom call, but just yeah, I think you'd have a really, really tough time trying to sell just by putting some information out there and putting a link with it. People really, really need to know, like, and trust you and know and understand more about you if they're going to buy into you. If you were Joe Wicks or somebody like that, you might be fine. But
Most aren't.
yeah, most aren't. I'm definitely not Joe Wicks. Yeah, it's much trickier.
And for me, first of all, you're qualifying who's coming into the business to make sure that they're a good fit, and it's not going to be that one customer. And we've all had customers like this where they suck your energy, time. It's just not a good fit for whatever reason. So you're qualifying the person. And then secondly, like, people have a bad habit of making slow decisions around transforming their life and buying fitness or nutrition or whatever the road is that they're taking. And all humans at some stage in their life have procrastinated over making a buying decision. And you've probably seen this with your customers that have yet to buy or whatever it may be, that sometimes people just need that reassurance. They need that person in their corner being like, you are making the right decision. You will get what you pay for. Because so many consumers have walked into an exercise to music class, a big corporate gym, maybe a small group personal training studio. They maybe bought a diet book, done online coaching with a famous influencer or just online coaching, and it's failed them. They've wasted the money. They may have got injured. They didn't get what they paid for. So they need that reassurance. They need that guarantee. They need to know the inner workings of how it all works. And they need to be heard.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, really. Absolutely. They need the reassurance. And we also get a lot of women come to us who don't feel like they're worthy or they're worth investing in themselves just because it's something you've never really done before. So it's also that reassurance to be like, yes, you are worth it. And I'm sure that your partner would absolutely 100% back you in this. And they just need that. They need to know that someone is there for them, is in their corner.
So then you have that conversation, you find out a little bit more about them, you then offer them the opportunity to join. Roughly how many new customers are signing up sort of per month, give or take?
Per month, roughly about 10, I would say on average.
Excellent. And then they take part in the initial 6 weeks?
Yes.
And then from there, is there a conversation about sort of next steps? And
Yeah, so usually about week 4 or 5, week 3 actually, we have a wellbeing call. And in the wellbeing call, we just see how they're getting on and if they need any assistance. And usually that's quite a good time to say if someone hasn't really been engaging or they've not been doing what they're meant to be doing or they've fallen off the wagon, if you like, that's a good time to try and turn it around too. So we have a wellbeing call in week 3. And then around about week 4 or 5, we have the conversation about what do you want to do moving forwards and see what is best for them as well. Because if we found out that actually they're not a right fit, then it's not going to be beneficial for anyone moving forwards. And then we'll try and help them find a different solution. But the majority of people, we have a really good conversion rate. It's about 78, well, no, it's more than that. It's about 80-ish% who do the 6-week course and then move on to our inner circle.
And then what is roughly sort of lifetime value?
Lifetime value roughly is about 2 years for us.
And what are you doing to keep things fresh and incentivizing people? And obviously the community events in person must play a massive role. We got this famous saying, FMA, people will start with you because they're looking for a transformation. If you're a good coach, good gym, good online platform, you should be able to get someone a changeable result in 6, 8, 12 weeks. Most people will stay because of the community. So I guess the community element is a massive part, and you mentioned it right at the start. Is there anything else you're doing to keep it fresh, to keep it new, to keep people engaged?
Yes. So something that we started doing probably about 6-9 months ago is alternating each month between having a focus month and having a online challenge. So the online challenge might be something from a plank challenge that everyone gets involved in to a massive step challenge, whatever it might be. It's just a challenge that everyone can get involved in. And then the focus months tend to be a little bit more well-being, wellness based. And we do a bit of a vote for it. So we do a poll, right, what should the focus of next month be? And that's a really good way to engage people and also for people to see their progression. So the most recent one we did was glute strength core strength and balance. So we had little tests along the way, and people were saying by the end that that's been the best focus month I've ever done. My balance has improved. I can't believe it. So doing things like that where people see and feel their progression, and then also something to get your teeth into, we find that it's really, really beneficial. We also do things like 31 and 31, so 31 workouts in 31 days. And we have different levels for it. So that would be like the advanced and then intermediate, beginner. And everyone's sharing the classes that they've done and staying accountable in the Facebook group. So we do both individual and group challenges. But we also have to be a little bit careful being online, because it's okay doing lots and lots of face-to-face things, but a lot of people are online for a reason. They don't necessarily like that. So it's really difficult to try and get the balance between doing things that are face-to-face that people want to do without making other people feel isolated, who don't live nearby, who can't do that or don't like it, which is why we do so many online challenges as well.
Is there any awards?
We actually just had a 5-year party. We had a huge party at the Crown Plaza in Nottingham, and we went all out. We got a big photo booth, DJ, and we held some awards there as well. And that was really lovely to
How many
do.
members came along?
We had 109. So yeah, roughly half of our membership came along. It was mega. We did a huge flash mob as well, so everyone learnt all these dance routines and we filled the dance floor. But yeah, we did do some awards there.
How many people come up to you and said, "You've changed my life"? How many come up to you and said, "I was so nervous about turning up tonight"?
So many of them, so many. So Will and I stood at the entrance and we gave every single person a hug that came in. We were there for ages. And there was this huge queue going into the reception. It kind of happened by accident, just as we were just saying hello at the door. And so many people there said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous," or saying something like, "Oh, it's like meeting a celebrity because you're always on the telly." Like, "Oh my gosh, that's mental." But yeah, a lot. It was really
I
nice.
guess for a lot of the people there, they recognize the names. They may chat to each other, but they've never met them in person, and suddenly.
Yes. Yes.
Let's talk about marketing. You touched upon the Facebook ads before. So roughly sort of how much are you spending on ads sort of per month?
We spend £15 a day. That's what we've got on ads at the moment. Yes.
Marketing. We've already touched upon briefly Facebook ads. What other marketing activity are you doing to generate the members?
So our other main ones would be referrals. And we do big referral campaigns, like at Christmas. We put a voucher in the Christmas card, and that was an idea that we got from you guys at FMA. And that works really, really well. So I would say half of our new joiners in January, and we had a big month in January, were referrals.
That's awesome. So many online coaches don't collect any data when they sign up an online customer. And they'll just get their name, email, and phone number. So I guess let's go. We will continue on marketing, but let's just go back to that sales process. At what point are you collecting my physical postal address? And then I didn't mention it or ask before, are they filling out any medical forms?
So there is, yes, they complete that on their onboarding, but we collect the postal address at the same time as taking payment, because we actually send out a little welcome pack for everyone who does a 6-week course.
Which is a nice little touch. Most businesses don't send out anything. So you're sending branded merchandise, or what's in that welcome pack?
So in the welcome pack, we have a little booklet for the 6-week course, and it guides them through it. We've also got some sheets where they can fill out their meals if they want to, or their workouts. And we've also got an online journal, so they can put them in their online journal or they can write them on there. And then we put a little pen in there as well, and a little welcome sheet leaflet, just with house rules. And they're not really rules. They're more like, we're a community, be nice. We're going to be nice to you. And that's what they start off with. But then we've got their postal address for when we do things at Christmas and send out a Christmas card.
Like the referrals.
Yeah.
But again, like a lot of your customers have probably bought some type of fitness in the past, and they've probably, never had a 5-star sales experience consultation. They probably never received anything in the post, and it just starts the relationship off on the right foot. So let's go back to Christmas and the referral campaign. So you sent Christmas cards out to everyone.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So we sent Christmas cards out to everyone. I think there was a picture of us inside just saying Merry Christmas, everybody. We've put a little voucher in here that you can give to your friends It's not necessarily like a free week. It's actually a gift voucher that you can put as a Christmas present. So they could use it as a Christmas present. It is worth, I think it was worth £25, which meant that you get £25 off the 6-week course, or they could use it towards a week. But the way that we framed it, and the way that I like to do it, is say that this is actually a gift that you can give on us. So we did that, and it worked really, really well, and people were really appreciative of it as well. So we got about half of our new joiners in January from doing that referral.
Excellent. What other marketing strategies?
So we also, at the moment, we've been pushing corporate quite a lot, because being online, it's literally perfect. Especially now, a lot of people are working hybrid, so they're working from home or and in the office. So we sent out a survey to our members to try and gather more information, anyone in HR or anyone who would be interested. And that's kind of how that all started, but also organically through LinkedIn. I'm always posting things on LinkedIn and trying to get into, well, it's not sliding into DMs, that's the wrong way of saying it. But just messaging people, if you're ever interested, we do X, Y, Z, sending a brochure over. So we've got a little corporate brochure that I send out, and you might not hear for about 4 months. And then all of a sudden, they might need a speaker talking about the menopause. And then there we go. So
That's a nice intro.
yeah.
Let's go back to that survey. So what questions are on that survey, and what's the most important one that you're looking for people to fill in?
So the questions are, I can't remember them all off the top of my head, to be honest. But do you know anyone who's working within HR in the company? Does your company currently have any health or fitness providers that they're using? And would you be interested in anything?
And my bet is they answer yes, and then they put down the relevant people inside of the business that
Yeah.
they're part of.
Yeah.
And then you've got a name, you've got the business name, you've got the director, the CEO, or you've got the HR if they're a bigger company. And then you know if they invest in health or if they don't. And then I guess you then go look up that person on LinkedIn. And then you're building data of like, okay, here's my 200 plus customers, 75 have filled in that they work in a business that has a structure of HR and all this stuff. And then here's that exact direct contact. And if more listeners to this podcast could take the time to just quickly send out a survey, asking a few questions and finding out where your members work, and finding out who the key contact is at that work, if they have any health benefits involved, I'm sure that more people would be able to get intros into bigger businesses. Even at FMA, like we as a company, we pay membership for our team to use the gym, and there's other companies that do exactly the same. They subsidize it or they pay outright, and it's just about getting to the right contact and making that offer.
Definitely, it really is. And I think sometimes corporate can be a bit frustrating because it really is a slow burner. And I think you just have to be present all the time and be the top of somebody's mind when they actually need it. So I think it's just a case of being consistent, maybe put in your diary, and this is what I do every quarter, email corporates. It's in my diary. I'll do it consistently. But in the meantime, I'm always posting on LinkedIn. I'm always sharing what I can.
Let's talk about operations. I'm sure as a business, as any service-based business, cancellations, hey, I'm going on holiday, I'm changing my bank cards, support tickets around, I can't log in. Who deals with that? How do you deal with it? What's the process? What's the systems in place?
Okay, so it depends on the actual thing. If it's something like, oh, my classes didn't track properly or I can't log in, that all goes to, we say, tech will. And there is a report a problem button at the bottom of the website, and everyone knows to use that. It's all in the introductory course, who to contact and how and when and why. Then anything else like cancellations, that comes to me because I do want to know, first of all, is that person okay? I want to know the reasons why they want to cancel, just in case it's anything that we can do to help. And it's great to have that feedback anyway, but also to see if they have actually got a plan for their health and fitness, because we find that a lot of people just panic cancel because they haven't used it for a while, feel a bit bad about it, and I'm not using it, let's quickly cancel. don't have any plan for their health and fitness, and actually they just needed somebody to talk to be like, it's okay, you've not used it for a couple of weeks. Let's just ease ourselves back in. Right, let's do this. So that all comes to me. Feel like that's quite important.
Yeah, so I do too. And I think too many businesses will just be like, oh, that person wants to cancel. Oh, okay, well, okay, bye.
Yeah,
There's no conversation. And I think what you just said there is crucial. It's okay to cancel, but what are you doing next to look after yourself? And as you said, most people don't have a plan.
yeah, yeah.
They're just seeing it on their bank statement and they're like, I'm not using it. Quick emotional decision, not logical, not thinking about the vision that they want for their life. They're looking after themselves, with the craziness of work, juggling kids and so on. And before you know it, they might be back to square one.
Exactly.
It's an opportunity for you to have that customer service call / sales call to resell them potentially back in if it's a good fit.
Yeah, and sometimes what we do say is if they're really just not in a good place right now with their health and fitness and they haven't been using it and they've been going through, I don't know, something really difficult, we will say, just hop onto the squad version of the 6-week course, have that guidance from me. I'll be checking in with you every week and not hand holding, but just take my hand and come with me. Let's do it. Let's do it together. And then so many people have done that and then been in such a better place. And then you feel really, really good for doing it as well. Like you've really, really given a good service to that person.
So we talked about sales, marketing, we talked about the product, operation. Let's talk about finance. So again, what's your process, systems for tracking everything?
So we use Stripe for tracking absolutely everything. And what Will and I do is at the end of every month, we go over absolutely everything. So we'll put in all our expenses, we'll look at the turnover. We'll also at this point look at the retention rate, your churn rate. And it's like a huge, we spend at least half a day going through month end and looking at, projecting where we need to be.
I love that. So many business owners, they might be on their own and their spouse might support them from further afar, or they might have a business partner that's husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're not putting in structured time to look at the important data. So based on what you said, I'm thinking that this is a structured in your calendar. This meeting happens every single month.
Exactly. It happens every single month. It is usually on the first or the second. We tend to do it straight away. So month end, straight away, do it together. And it will be a sit down. Sometimes we'll take it to the local pub, take our laptops and sit in the
Change the scenery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Change of scenery and also out of the home. Or sometimes we will just do it at home, but it is that structured time where it's like, right, okay, this is business.
Because before you know it, it's the 15th of the month. Half the month's gone. You've not looked at finances. You don't know what your profit is, revenue. You're losing clients or you're gaining clients, and it becomes a complete mess. So having that structure is crucial. Obviously, you're running the business together. You're married. How is that dynamic? Because so many, as I said, couples, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, they work together, or the spouse heavily supports them in the business, or they're actual physical business partners. And sometimes it can be hard to juggle life and business. So how do you guys do it?
It's really interesting. Sometimes it can be quite tricky, but for me and Will, we find that it comes really naturally. So we work in Lorna Morie Fitness together, and we also work in another business together. But I would say the way that it works for us is we have our departments in the business, if you like. So I will be looking after the marketing. I will be looking after the content, and Will looks after anything website related. And then the way we come together is at the end of the month, we'll talk about how everything is going, and the finances are very much a joint thing. It's just, black and white. This is where we're at. But we're very good at switching between home life and then professional as well. And I think it really is important to, if you are struggling with it, to have that conversation of after 8 p.m, phones down, laptops down. This is home life. And also call up the other person, if they're talking about business or just going into it, no, this is family time now. And then respecting that as well and being like, all right, yeah, okay, sorry. And I think it's really important to do that.
Well, so many entrepreneurs have that go button. Like you talked about it right at the start of the podcast, go. And before you know it, it's 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. You're still working. You're still talking about work. And then, you were passed out through exhaustion or you struggled to get to sleep.
Yeah.
Making sure you have that boundary set time is so important.
Definitely. And I think there's always times where it will slip a little bit. And the problem with that is you just end up feeling burnt out because you're constantly living and breathing your work, especially when it is at home, like our online business is at home. We are both in that business. Our life, kind of our identity and life revolves around it. But then it's really important to be like, right, okay, it's like healthy habits, isn't it? Rein it back in and just remember that you have a life outside of work as well. Even though, you love it, you're passionate about it. There is a Lorna outside of Lorna Morie Fitness as well. And it's really important to remember that.
You've created a tremendous business together, massive following of customers that adore you, love you, change their lives. But most people will be surprised that you do all of this part-time. So briefly just explain why and what takes up the rest of your time.
So Will and I both work at Nottingham Zinc Group, which is the family business, and that is a metal finishing business and zinc electroplating and also powder coating. So I work there on a part-time basis and Will is there full-time. He's a technical manager, so he programs all the robots. He's very clever guy. And I do everything: invoicing, booking work in, payroll, HR. And the reason I really love working there is because I am someone who's very go, go, go. I can't help it. There is no off button with me, but I find that task switching is actually really useful because the fitness industry, as most people know and understand, is quite all consuming, especially if you love it and it's your hobby as well. If it's your hobby and your work and your life, like me and Will, partners working in it as well, it's very all consuming. By going to work somewhere in a factory office, surrounded by people talking about shopping trolleys, or even actually they even do gym parts. Yeah, talking about metal finishing. It's complete task switching. It allows my brain to switch off.
Probably couldn't get any further away from the fitness industry.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're talk me through a day in the life then. What does a typical, say, Monday look like for you?
For Lorna. So I get up at 5:20. I'll have a coffee and I will go over the class I'm about to teach. And then I will get ready, teach the classes. So the one at 6 o'clock and then the next one at 6:30. I will, as soon as I finish that, we'll go on a dog walk, me and Will, and that'll be no work talk. It's all, family talk, work, not work talk, sorry, all family talk. And then I will come back from that. I will upload the workouts from the morning for everyone who wants to do them later. I will put a little message in the squad WhatsApp group. Right, everyone, your workouts are up. It's Monday today. Please screenshot a picture of your journals for accountability. Here's the link. And from there, I will answer any check-ins on the 6-week course. I will answer any emails, any messages that I've got, and then do a few more admin bits, maybe some business development stuff. And about 12 o'clock, I set off to go to Nottingham Zinc Group. And when I get there, I'll be doing the payroll, I'll do the invoicing, the booking in. I leave there about 5:30 and I come home, and that is where I will be tying things up for Lorna Morie Fitness. So it's like a Lorna Morie Fitness sandwich. So I go back into Lorna Morie Fitness and we have our cut-off point about 8 p.m. and we'll sit down, have dinner, watch some rubbish on telly to switch off. And then we go again the next day.
Let's talk about competitors. We all have them. In your space, you've got major corporations. So, you've got Peloton, you've got Les Mills Interactive, you've got fitness influencers with like high-tech apps. How are you innovating? How are you sort of staying ahead? I'm sure you don't lose customers to any of those companies that I've just mentioned because they build a relationship with you. A lot of those companies have like mass instructors behind the scenes, and it may be a little bit harder to build that relationship, and you're just like one number inside a massive ecosystem. But you must look at those companies, which some of them are venture backed, they've got unlimited financial resource. How are you sort of positioning yourself and sort of staying ahead?
So the way that we position ourselves is based on authenticity and the fact that you are never a number. We know everyone. We know everyone in the squad. And we listen to everybody as well. So just last week I sent out a survey, but it's something we do quite regularly. And in there, the most important question is the last one. And that is, do you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to work differently or anything to change? And everyone always has really good suggestions of what they think we could do. And not only that, he's really, really creative, and he has really built out the online platform to be incredible. So it's all self-coded, but there's achievements in there. So he's working on gamifying it. We've got a leaderboard on there as well, so squaddies can be really competitive, and the interactive step challenges, but it's getting better and better and better alongside all the changes that the squad want. So we have a huge list. We've got a working list on a Trello board of all the things that they want to see, and we're just working through it. So it's a case of just really listening to the people in front of you, and they know that when they tell us something, it's going to get actioned. Something's going to happen.
You're consistently innovating it. Like, just if you're a physical bricks and mortar gym, the chances are that you're, over the time, give the gym a lick of paint, you'll update the kit, the team will go on staff courses to get qualified in further things, the programming becomes better, you add in the community element. If you're an online coach, this is your version of that. You're consistently just innovating the actual product, the experience. But the biggest takeaway for me from that part was you're always asking for feedback.
Yeah, all the time.
Which is crucial. As an industry, we need to do more of that, consistently asking, how can I service you better? How can I help you? How can we improve?
Yeah.
And get that feedback from the customer.
Definitely. And I think sometimes as well, it'll be things that you don't want to hear. So you'll kind of look at the feedback with one eye open, one eye closed, but you know that by implementing it, it's going to make a big difference, particularly if, more than one person's come up with a similar idea. So it is that constant innovation that you can't stand still. You just got to keep moving forward all the time. Like if you stand still, you're basically going backwards.
So many online coaches will just have a Google sheet. And when you ask them, like, hey, what is your product? What do you actually sell? Some are similar to yourself. They'll have that exercise component of live video, but some it will just be pre-recorded. Others, it's literally nothing. And on the other side of that, a lot of online coaches, it's heavily just nutrition and say steps and 3 weight workouts a week. But the actual product is really, really polished, literally just a Google sheet. And then they wonder why they struggle to obtain clients. They wonder why they can't attract clients. So let's talk more about this actual platform that Will's created and is key to the business. The gamification, the step challenges, like all of this stuff, like how does that continuously play a role?
It's really important for motivation to keep people coming back. Like even as adults, we all love a sticker. So that's what the achievements is about. It's great when we get a sticker and on there you can see when your ring's about to close, when you're going to get your next achievement. It's about bringing people back and making them feel like they need to be on the platform and they need to do the sessions. So it's creating that. And other things that he is now building is the tracking during the class. So when you hit a certain percentage, I think it's 80% of the way through the class, it will come up at the top saying your achievement has been tracked. So it's making people make sure they do the session, do enough of it too. And it's just an amazing motivational tool. And I think you really need to be doing things similar, or even thinking about, okay, how can I gamify it? Even if it is something, like I said earlier, like 31 classes in 31 days, even give people a sheet to tick out themselves. It doesn't have to be complicated, but just make it fun, exciting, interactive, interesting to keep them coming back.
And they'll stick, stay, refer, pay, and so on.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you've overcome, or biggest mistakes that you've made that others should potentially avoid or look out for?
Oh, I would say, I am always a big believer of fail forwards, always. I think you can only ever learn from your failures. But last year, we tried to expand. And in principle, I'm not saying expansion is a bad thing at all. In principle, it was all going to work really, really nicely. It was all going to work really, really well. So we brought on not 1, but 2 team members at the same time. And this was a time when we were going through a transition and having our first ever contractor become a full-time employee. So it all happened at the same time. And the reason behind it was so that the full-time employee could work on marketing and the 2 that were part-time were sales. So in principle, sounds really, really good. But then the issue we had, we couldn't get enough leads for them all initially. And then we couldn't get enough good quality leads for them all. And as much as we wanted to make it work, it just wasn't going to work at that time. And we probably tried to expand too fast. But I probably tried to make it work for too long. So I wanted to give everyone the best chance. So we put a lot of finance into helping it, well, trying to make it happen. And looking back now, even though it was a bit of a mistake to do all of that in one go, like it was too much in one go in hindsight. But I'm really glad that I put everything into it, because if I'd just dipped my toe in or done 70%, I would always have that, yeah, but if I would have just actually fully committed, then it might have worked. But I know in my heart of hearts, I gave it full commitment. We went all in and it didn't work. And then we had to pull back. And luckily, those two ladies are still with us now. They're brand ambassadors, and they, I took them on the journey. I'm really, really open with the journey with my team, even to an extent with the squad as well, where we are. So everyone feels like they've been brought along with us. But that, I would say that was a really hard time, actually. That was really challenging.
What is the lesson there for everyone listening or watching?
The lesson there is, yes, it's great to go all in on something, but sometimes you need to hire slow and fire fast. Even though we didn't really fire them, I think it's really important to hire slow and take your time on big decisions like that.
Yeah, we've all, as business owners, made, numerous mistakes. And I think, as you said, that's how you learn, you tweak, you adjust, and then you go again. And when it comes to hiring and firing, it's such a hard decision. And some people it works out and some people it doesn't. And sometimes it's the hard conversations you have to have, which basically sets you free, sets the business free, and sometimes even sets that person free as well. Because, maybe it's not for them, and that is okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I think looking back now, it was a huge learning curve, but at the same time, it was the right decision by the business and probably everyone else as well. And it was all done on really, really good terms. So I'm pleased about the way we handled it.
So what is the future? What's next?
So I'd love to build our little squad up a little bit more, not loads, because I don't want to lose that family feel. So I'd love to do that. Will is going to be working on expanding the platform and hopefully white labeling it. So other businesses, other fit pros would be able to have their own version of what we've got. So have their own interactive platform and classes or whatever they want to put on there. And also expanding into the corporate side. So the way that we have the platform is businesses can choose what elements they would like on their own platform, brand it with all of their branding on. So that is something that we're currently doing and would really, really love to expand on. And then I'd also love to expand on Yogascape. So Yogascape is our trademark brand. And it was actually one of our most popular classes at Lorna's online squad. And so we thought we'd trademark it, and I now have instructors teaching Yogascape all around the world, so even as far as Australia.
My knowledge of yoga is minimal, so what are they receiving?
So they receive choreography, so it's pre-choreographed. They receive choreography once a quarter with the music and with the choreography notes, so they can learn it all. And I even give them a bit of a bullet point script of things that they could say if they're not really sure what to say for the moves. And the way that I've created Yogascape is it's a bit of a flow of energy. So when people first do the class, it's a little bit quicker, basically. And then as we go through the class, it gets a bit slower. We do some balance work. We stretch out the hips. We stretch out the hamstrings. And then by the end of the class, they feel in a place where they're more relaxed. Their body feels better. And we have a bit of relaxation meditation at the end. And all instructors generally will be teaching the same release at the same time. So most instructors now will be on release number 6. And me and Will, we go on location. The last location was actually my parents' living room, but it is a very nice living room with a big fire. So that was nice. But the one before was on a retreat that we were running. Oh yeah, so we run retreats as well. In a Morgos on a rooftop. And Morgos is an island just off Santorini. And we filmed it there, and it's incredible. Will got his drone out, and really cool. So we do that once a quarter as well.
How many of your members went on that retreat?
It was 16 on this one, I believe. Yeah, 16 of us all
Every
together.
year?
We've been doing them every year for the past 2-3 years, but we've not got one coming up this year. We said we'd have a year off, just because it is something that it's a huge investment for everyone going on it, and I don't want it to lose its spark. So it's probably like an every other year thing for us, really.
Well, it's crazy how you fit everything in, but that's what entrepreneurship is. And you followed your passion and you're having massive impact. You created a successful 6-figure plus business, changing many lives for the better. So thank you for pulling back the curtain and just talking more about the business and what you've achieved. How can people sort of, first of all, find out more about you? What's your personal Instagram handle? What's the website? How can they contact you about the white label solution and everything like that?
So my Instagram handle is Lorna Morie Fitness Official. Same with Facebook as well. So Lorna Morie Fitness. I'm also on LinkedIn. So online fitness classes with LinkedIn, but you can also find me as Lorna Morie Fitness. And our website is lornamoriefitness.co.uk. Or you can email me, lorna@lornamoriefitness.co.uk, or Yogascape, yogascape.co.uk for anyone who wants to teach a yoga style fitness class as well.
So much going on, but so much impact and positivity. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Really enjoyed it.